Hi there, it's KMC. I wanted to share in this Help Desk episode a little bit of an update around what we're seeing in some practices that come to us for help. And we're going to call it the practices coding to the patient's benefit versus coding to the service provided. And what do I mean by that? Well, a really big example of that is muscle work, 97140 versus 97124. And what we're seeing is that if 97140 isn't covered, but 97124 is, the same service being done is just being coded differently, so there will be coverage. That's never a good idea. In fact, 97124 and 140 are very different services that are expected to be coded according to the description of the code and the intent of the code, also in who is allowed to provide the code. And all of this comes with really understanding chiropractic coding and billing. And it begins with understanding the medical review policy of the payer that you're dealing with. Coding and documentation information is generally included, and it will help you to understand how they feel about any experimental, unproven investigational services such as Graston or ART, etc., and also be able to tell you about the codes. And here's a tip. Sometimes if you can't find exactly what you're looking for in some of these physiotherapy codes or physical therapy codes, you could go and find the physical therapy medical review policy from that payer. And who has a really, really good one is Medicare, CMS. Every different Medicare Part B MAC has a physical therapy local coverage determination or a local coverage article. They're very extensive. And for every service, it will give you tremendous bits of information. It will tell you about what is expected to be provided when this code is billed, about how many visits one would expect to see that service be provided in a typical situation. It can also tell you, for example, what the rationale is for that code or that service. All of this is very valuable information as we're working with doctors to assist them with writing their macros or putting together information to make their documentation more compliant. We pull that information together. So always remember, we're going to check the patient's eligibility. We're going to check the verification for all of the services that are going to be rendered. And then we're going to follow up by looking at that medical review policy to make sure that we are coding specifically to what we did and not to what the patient's benefit is. So be sure you're looking at that. You're looking at who's allowed to provide the service, and you're looking at all the circumstances that make sure that your coding and billing can be compliant, because we don't want you to go down a rabbit hole that's tough to get out of. So easy peasy lemon squeezy. If you have questions or problems, you know where to find us. Make it a great day. Like and share, and we would love to see you again.